when you turn on the film, what do you see from Baylor?
Baylor, I think they're really solid everywhere. You know, the last 5 games, I think they've averaged over 40 points and just under 500 yards of offensive game. So they're doing it on the ground and in the air. So I feel like they're really good running team, good RPO team, and got some capable skill on the outside that can make you pay. You know, so I think they're really good. They're got to be playing as good as anybody in our league right now.
I wonder, this gets off that of the game a little bit, but you've been around Lance a long time. There were some points this year, like any coach, where he was kind of questioned and he just kept staying up there and saying, trust our process, we're going to stick with what we do, we know it works. I know you got to finish it, but I wonder how rewarding that is for you to see that for him, the way you guys have kind of played this month and put yourselves in this position.
Yeah, I said I've coached. This is the 40th season for me, and you know, obviously there's been a lot of seasons where it's championships and national championships and it's all that kind of stuff. But I was telling somebody yesterday, I think this is. We'll see how it all finishes up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it'll at the end of the day, it'll be one of the most rewarding seasons ever. Just considering a month ago, kind of where it was at, and really a great testament to our players. And quite honestly, you know, as you said, the program from the leadership from coach on down, and you know, it's what we say we're about, and we stayed about it, and you know. And things have kind of turned here a little bit for us. So, you know, like I said, it's win and loss record-wise, and maybe all the initial hopes and dreams and aspirations. You know, we're not going to reach all that, but at the end of the day, there's really something to be gained as an individual and as a program when you can fight through and do some things. Because quite honestly, I don't think a lot of people would. So, so I think it just speaks volumes for our guys in our program.
Brian, there's 2 guys, young kids that have really started to pick up their snaps, and I was curious if you could talk about it. Jalen Todd and Blake Harrell.
Yep. Well, Blake, number 1, is, you know, just become one of our most consistent players on the interior, and he does it in practice, and you know, he's earned his game opportunities, and he's showing what is, you know, he's a really good athlete, but he's really tenacious also. And again, it's, you know, there's some good players that'll try to play fast and hard, but they don't do much right. He actually, you know, he does a lot of stuff right. So he's got a great combination. And so, yep, his playing time's picked up, and particularly he's you know, we don't have a ton of guys on the inside that are just going to create their own pass rush and win one-on-one. And you know, we got guys that everybody can do it occasionally, but he can do it a little more consistently. So in those situations, we try to make sure he's on the field for sure. And Jalen Todd is, you know, just guys come in. He's a freshman. He was here this spring. He couldn't do much this spring, but he does what he's supposed to do. He doesn't show up on any lists that you don't want to be on, and he's done. He just does everything the way you want it done, and really is coachable and just a really good kid. And you know, it became. I thought by the end of spring last year we knew, hey, this guy's he's going to be something, and he's just continued on. And you know, he's playing behind some, you know, a couple of really good players at corner, but you know, he's kind of moved into that nickel spot in some of those situations, and he's probably really cut out for that, quite honestly. And he didn't flinch. You know, last week he really played a strong game, and you know, he just nothing really phases him. So you like those kind of guys.
Where do you think, or what area of his game do you think has improved the most over the course of the season?
Well, I just think I think there's really knowing what's going on and being trustworthy in that way. He can do that, and you know, he's got good man-to-man coverage skills, but he's had to really pick up the rest of it too, and really just learn corner, but also learn that nickel spot. You know, the zone coverages, the different things that we do. He just really doesn't make mistakes either. So, you know, and you know, a lot of first-year players struggle in that area mightily because there's just a lot to grasp, and in addition to all the other things that go along with being a first-year player. But man, he's just unfazed and just keeps going, and has really earned everybody's trust.
You see some of the mock drafts, some of them even have Shedeur and Hunter go 1-2. I wonder if your team defense gets a bump in confidence from, making life hard on those guys
Yeah,
last week. Have
yeah,
you noticed that?
I hope so.
Yeah.
We try not to talk too much about all those kind of things. I think everybody recognizes the talent level that was out on the field there, and I think we did a pretty good job of making the quarterback at least uncomfortable, and got to him a few times and hit him some other times, and so I thought we held our own, and Hunter, he had those 2 touchdown catches, and really one of them was a screen pass that, just does what he does once in a while. He had about 4 other ones that he catch and tackle. So, and then the other one we kind of busted the coverage and just flat out didn't cover him. So, that's I do, but I think it's I think our guys came out of that game feeling pretty good that we took an offense that's pretty high powered with a lot of tools and really, for the most part did what we needed to do to win the game in the way that we needed to do it. So I think there's a lot to be gained.
What did you see specifically from Kobe in that game? He was not shy about telling us how much that one meant to him, and
yeah, he was locked in. He's very, very competitive like he always is, and probably even more so. I think he just looked forward to the challenge and was ready to compete. So
do you think it was among his best games?
I think it was a great game for him. I can't say, he's had some other really good games. So, statistically probably not as much, but he did have a couple PBUs at the end of the game or in the second half. So, I thought he played a very solid game, and quite honestly, sometimes you're worried when a guy's so hyped up about a certain a situation that we're too focused on just winning the little battle and not focused on winning the war. And I thought he did a pretty good job of really kind of keeping a broader perspective on what's really going on.
Brian, you talked about like Kobe was really up for that game. You guys have had 3 straight games against good opponents. Is there a challenge for getting the kids up for this last game?
Yeah, I'm always concerned about it. I don't know if I see it, that way yet. I think we've had a couple of really good practices, and really probably 3 of them, and so I don't feel like we feel like we've arrived. I would always challenge you guys to, hey, you've never arrived. There's always more, and to come this far and then not finish it the way it needs to be finished would be poor. So I think guys understand that, and like quite honestly, we don't talk and think a whole lot about Baylor during the year. I don't think they probably think a whole lot about us. So, there's some other programs that are closer by and, probably bigger rivalry games than what this would be. But, that I did, we do, hey, we haven't beaten them in 17 years since most of the guys sitting in the players in the room were, in diapers yet. And we've never beat them down there. So, so we've got some, some good incentive. And like I said, I think our guys are, by the time the game rolls around on Saturday, I think we'll be where we need to be.
Anything else for Coach Borland?
Bryson Washington, the running back for Baylor, has 4 100-yard plus rushing games in his past 5. What's it like going against him?
Yeah,
what do you expect?
I think he's good, and the other guy, 35, is also. They're good. So he runs through guys sometimes like they're not even there when they try to hit him. So we got to bring our big boy pads and make sure that we win the physical battle up front. And he's a really good yard after contact kind of guy, and so I think that's the best tandem of backs that we've probably seen all year long. They're going to be a really big challenge, just getting them on the ground. So.
And then one last one, Sawyer Robertson, the quarterback for Baylor. What do you see from him?
Good arm, can make the throws. I think when he's in the rhythm and knows what's going on, really, really good. We need to try to get him to not be in rhythm and have him be thrown on the move, trying to avoid rush and those kind of things, because him, just like any other quarterback, typically aren't going to be as good. So, but if he can just do what he wants to do, he really can pick people apart.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Brian.